Yo, what's up, rockers? So Metroid Dread is dropping in just a few days on October 8th, 2021. And to say I'm excited about it is probably a bit of an understatement. Let's not forget what happened in 2017 when Nintendo last announced a Metroid game. Yep, just a logo and announcement alone were enough to inspire Pucho, Magic, and I to make an absolutely sick Metroid Prime 4 GameCube and controller. Now, fingers crossed we actually get to see that game released in the next year or two, but hey, that's another story. When Nintendo announced Metroid Dread during E3 of this year and said it was releasing this year, you could imagine both the shock and excitement, as Nintendo not only has a Prime game in development, but also announced a brand new 2D Metroid game. As someone who grew up with a Super Nintendo, a 2D Metroidvania is a welcome addition to the series. While many rushed to go pick up the special edition of the game, I sought out to pick out a custom Metroid-themed controller. Only to find out that Nintendo didn't make one? Wait a second. You mean to tell me that Nintendo drops a new Metroid game, new amiibo, a limited edition version of the game, and heck, they even have what appears to be a real marketing campaign surrounding the game. But there's no Metroid-inspired controller? You've gotta be kidding me. Well, looks like we're gonna have to round up the crew and do what Ninten-didnt. So with Pucho Magic on board to lay some paint, we set off to do our take on a Metroid Dread inspired controller. We got started on this project almost immediately after the first trailer dropped, and we wanted to do this on a GameCube controller. To us, the GameCube controller just felt like the right controller to do it on, as we both have extensive knowledge on the controller, and while it has some shortcomings, tiny D-pad, it still felt right. So with the first trailer as our guide, there are a couple things that really stood out to us, the primary being is Samus' suit, which seems more closely to resemble the suit from Metroid Fusion, albeit still different. The color scheme is really interesting, with the primary colors being red, white, and blue, with both green and black highlights throughout the suit. When it came time to planning out the design of the controller, we really wanted to capture that color scheme, as we thought that would help tie it back to the game. Finally, we really wanted to attempt to capture some of the unique elements of the design of Samus' suit, specifically the light up green elements of her suit, featured in both the visor, chest plate, and arm cannon. To accomplish a similar effect, we opted to use a fully clear controller, and add some tasteful LEDs in an attempt to replicate this effect. Alright, so we're about to kick things off here, and what I really want to do is I want to tint out the face mask over here in a nice fluorescent green. The only problem is I've actually never done this before, and we're getting into territory where I'm going to do something for the first time, and quite frankly I'm a little nervous about it because I'd hate to ruin this amazing shell that Pucho painted. So what I'm going to do, and what I would recommend everyone have, is I've got basically a junk shell. This is a third party, just garbage shell to be honest, but at least it'll give me an idea of what I'm working with. So I mixed up a little bit of, this is UV resin actually, a little different than the stuff I would normally work with. Again, doing things for the first time here, so we've got to make sure that, we vetted the process through to make sure it's going to turn out good. And all I'm going to do is apply a little bit of this to the shell, and I just want to really see how it reacts, right? That's the entire purpose, right? Let's go ahead and get the UV lamp out, and let's just quickly cure this and see what it looks like. And I got a little bit of air bubble in here, not surprising, but there you go, you can kind of see it, it's right here. And to be completely honest, that's pretty much the exact effect that I want. It looks like it's going to actually end up working pretty well, so I think at this point I can probably go ahead and get started on the actual original shell, or the shell that Pucho painted, and I think it's going to turn out pretty well. So let's go ahead and give it a try and see how it turns out. Alright, done a little bit of pre-work here, just did a little bit of masking just to kind of make sure that it doesn't bleed too much over the red. The red faceplate over here is actually like actually it's not that translucent. He's got, looks like, Pucho does an amazing, painting in general. It looks like he's got some sort of metallic base sitting underneath there, which is why you get that nice reflectiveness.
But I did mask this off just a little bit just to make sure I'm not getting this stuff all over the place. The other thing I did is I went through and I just got all the bubbles out, or most of them at least, and we'll probably have to do one more final pass, but I guess now is the moment of truth, so I'm just going to take my sweet, sweet, sweet time, and yeah, let's hope this turns out nice. Alright, let's give it a try. Let's hope. I think I'm just going to let that cure for a couple minutes, and like I said, just hope it turns out nice. Alright, we've been curing for about a minute. Let's see how we did. Not bad, I would say. Not bad at all. Best part is when we illuminate it, it should look really, really good. I think I'm going to give it one more coat to try to even everything out one more time, and otherwise I think this thing looks absolutely awesome. Turned out really great. Alright, after that second coat's been applied, I think we're going to be looking really good right now. So I'll turn that over. That looks really great. You can see that parting line that I had between layers is now gone. And even cooler, we can really light that thing up. It's going to look absolutely awesome.
Okay, for the cord, think of this like really lovely green, like lime even green paracord. Should look really, really good. So let's get this bad boy cut to length and let's sleeve up that cable. Sleeving these cables is definitely not too bad, and it's a process I've actually covered before here on the channel, so if you're interested in checking out, I've got a card in the upper right hand corner which will walk you through a full tutorial on exactly how to do this yourself if you're interested. So I had a bit of a crazy idea while we were curing this resin earlier with the UV lamp, and that was, wouldn't it be cool if we could put a couple maybe UV LEDs underneath the visor and light it up? Should look really cool. So then I went ahead and started doing a little bit of work, and I modified the main board for my LED rings, and I just kind of created this little PCB right here. Now it has three 0603 UV LEDs on there, and they should all be able to be controlled via the touch sensor. Now, whenever you're using something like UV, I think it's always a good idea to have it on touch sensor. It's more of for an effect only. Obviously, long-term UV exposure is probably not a great thing, but hey, let's go ahead and get this thing installed in there, and yeah, it should make that visor just absolutely just pop off the screen. So let's try it. So I ended up pulling a quick audible. I really didn't like the way the initial PCB kind of looked through the visor and the LEDs. It just didn't look right. There was too many hot spots. So I kind of custom cut a little piece of acrylic and wired LEDs into the side of it over here. It'll still all work through the touch sensor, so I've got it all wired through there, but this kind of does a better job of diffusing the light and more evenly lights the visor. So I kind of figure I'll throw this together and just turn it on real quick and let you guys see what that looks like. Okay, I got the console turned on, and it's a little hard to see here because there's just a lot of light, but if I turn the lights off, I think you'll kind of get a better idea of what I'm talking about and see how nice this thing looks. Yeah, you can still see it looks pretty good, so I think this is kind of going to be the way that I proceed forward with this. I still think it looks really good. Still a tiny hot spot right there, if I'm being honest with myself. It's possible that I might be able to get, cleaned up a little bit, but honestly, I think at this point, I'm thinking it's just good enough. So let's get moving forward. Okay, with that visor finally finished, next we're going to install a Shinewave Kit. Now, a Shinewave Kit, for those of you who aren't aware, is a reactive LED mod that was made by myself and KingCurb64. And basically what we've done is we've gone through and created custom code for all the characters in Super Smash Bros. Naturally, if we're doing a Dread-based controller, we're going to use a Samus-based animation set for this controller. But anyway, I'm not going to spend too much time on the installation here. If you're interested in learning more about this thing, check out the card in the upper right-hand corner. And with that, we're pretty much done with everything I'm going to do to the controller, but we still got to make some buttons, and recently I've been doing some experimentation by combining both 3D printing and resin casting. So I went ahead and printed up some really cool goodies on my Elegoo Saturn, and for the most part I'm going to go ahead and integrate those into the buttons. Now earlier I had mentioned that the trim on Samus's suit is both black and green, and I think we've got the green more than covered. So for the buttons and sticks, I just want to go very simple and go with a nice black. But again, I really want to integrate some of that 3D printing in there, and well, here's what I came up with. The end result is this really cool 3D sculpted helmet of Samus, and it's basically embedded into the A button. Even cooler, that visor is fully UV reactive. But with all that hard work done, only thing left to do is reassemble and, of course, start testing it out. This controller came together and it's really beautiful. I'm really happy with the results, and even doing some of the things that we've done here for the first time, I feel like they turned out pretty good, so I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with the way the visor turned out, as well as that A button. And of course, Pucho laid some absolutely beautiful paint. Make sure you guys check him out over on Twitter and Instagram. I'll leave both those in the description below. Give him a follow. But realistically, the thing I'm probably the most excited for at this point is for the game actually to come out. It was a day one purchase for me, and I'm really excited to get the opportunity to play through it when I get it. If you guys enjoyed this video, do me a solid. Drop me a like, leave a comment below, and please share with your friends. It's been a minute since I've uploaded here on YouTube, and let's just say the algorithm's not happy. So any of that stuff you do goes a really long way to helping me and sharing my content with other people. Anyway, check out this video here at the end because I'm sure you're going to enjoy it too, and I'll catch you guys for the next one here soon.